you wanna sell, call Terrell. Just call Terrell, yeah. If you wanna buy, he's still the guy. Yeah, he's still that guy. So if you wanna buy or sell, just call Terrell.
Hey guys, welcome to the Bold LA Realty Show. So this is a show where we talk about real estate. What I really want these episodes to be about is essentially me finding certain inspirations from things throughout my everyday life that I come across and how I feel like they correlate with real estate, right? And also I want to start doing these more just so you guys can really get to know me. I want you guys to, kind of feel my energy, my presence. Everything I talk to you guys about is, I hope inspire some of you guys to pursue homeownership. And I'm very well aware of a lot of you guys really do want to become homeowners, right? It's just the situation that we're in, right? The average age of the homeowner now, I think is of a first-time home buyer, I think is 45 or something. So, it's tough. It's definitely tough, and I really understand that. So anyway, without further ado, today's episode is about perseverance and how, I was inspired by this woman's perseverance, and I had actually watched a show that I've never watched before, never really heard of before. The show is called Naked and Afraid. So I'm finding out now as I'm digging on, there's 18, 20 plus seasons of this. There's diehard fans of this. So honestly, I don't know what prompted me to, watch Naked and Afraid, but the first episode that I ever watched of this show, I've watched a couple more since this, but the first episode really inspired me. Now, if you guys don't know what Naked and Afraid is, Naked and Afraid, it's basically a show where they have to be 21 days, basically a jungle type of environment. They're naked, they get one weapon each, I think, and choose a knife and a mosquito net, and they get a pot and a fire starter, and that's it. And it's two people. Those two people have to work together for the 21 days, essentially. They're complete strangers too, by the way. They haven't had any prior contact. This episode, it gives you kind of the intros of each of the two contestants, right? The two strangers that are going to be working together to survive in this jungle location for the 21 days. And then they have to be extracted. And basically that encompasses some type of journey to where you have to travel to a certain location to even be extracted. They don't just come and get you after surviving the 21 days. It's a real challenge. Me, myself, I would never, never-ish like that. But what was great about this, so they do the the background of the two contestants. So what's interesting is that the woman, the woman, obviously she's in shape, but she's comparative to the guy. The guy is all muscled up. He's talking about I think he was he's good at fishing, he's good at hunting, he knows about, all the different types of snakes, he's in shape, so I'm thinking okay, this dude's really about to carry the team. Then we go over to the woman, contestant. And initially, so she talks about she broke 46 bones in her body, right? The doctor also told her that she would never, walk again. So she's given this, and this is my first time watching the show, so it's kind of going in one ear and out the other. She still not only was able to walk again, but she basically became this stunt woman on a horse, doing stunts on horses and stuff, athletic as fuck. You know what I mean? So anyway, as the episode goes on, right, it gets to day 5, right? By day 5, so the male partner, at first he's, all into it, and he finds a turtle, right? And he's like, oh, it's such a nice turtle. And then he's like, oh, we can't eat the turtle. So he's turning away food, but he's saying how hungry he is. And again, I'm not trying to eat no wild turtle anyway either, but that's why I'm not doing the challenge. But you're doing the challenge, so you expect him to be ready to do this, especially he said he grew up hunting. So he puts the turtle back, then by day 5 he's just I'm tapping. I can't do it anymore. I can't kill animals. And by the way, the woman, she's actually the vegan. She does not eat meat at all or, eat any animal products. She's 100% vegan, has been vegan for years. And, she also says too, like, hey, I'm willing to do what I have to do to survive, even though I'm vegan. And this guy, he never talked about being vegan. He talked about hunting and everything. So it's like, hey, you didn't kill animals before, you're doing the challenge. So, but anyway, he couldn't kill the turtle, but he's saying that he's starving. So by day 5, he taps out. So when your partner taps out on this show, the other partner still got to stay there, and they don't like bring in like a reserve, like, hey, okay, here's your other partner. You just gotta complete the challenge by yourself. And as I'm watching this show, again, this is my first time watching the show, I'm like, oh yeah, no, she just gotta tap out too. Cause it's like, it's day 5. Like, how are you? Cause you gotta stay 21 days. So I'm thinking like, how can you, how is she gonna last, right? Because again, maybe it's the gender thing. I don't know what it was, why I thought initially like, man, she's a woman, she's kind of, and by the way, so just to give you guys kind of some visuals about this, right? When old boy leaves, right? When the partner leaves and taps out, day 5, mind you, they got to go 21 days. He taps out day 5, and she was trying to, kind of talk him out of it a little bit, like, hey, don't do it. We came here together. Let's finish, yada yada. Still tap. So she cries initially, right? And understandably so, because it's like, this is the person that I'm supposed to do this with, and now it's only day 5 and I got to do this alone. So, she cries and everything, but, she gets through it. So, that's one obstacle. Mind you, she still hasn't eaten. So, she hasn't eaten. She's by herself. The rain is crazy, right? So the rain is just like hitting her. It's raining for like 2-3 days straight. So I don't think she has a fire. She's in the cold. She's laying with bugs, and she's by herself. And I'm just like, I can't believe like she's really, pushing through this. And you would see it on her, just the tears, the emotion, just the toughness of it all. Thunder, lightning, rain, nonstop. So she gets through that, right? The sun finally comes up. She's starving. She finds some fruit. And, she is like doing, the happy dance and is just loving life. And it's just like, she finally gets this big victory after, all of this. And again, she's by herself, traversing this jungle and everything like that. After that, she eats the fruit. It starts raining again. And it's raining so hard that it's getting all in the shelter. I think the fire goes out. She's just freezing cold. And then also, she thought the fruit was a win, and she had stocked up on it. She had ate it, and then she ends up throwing up like all like 2 a.m., like just not sleeping. So it's raining, it's cold, she's throwing up, and I'm like, okay, she has to tap out now. Like, nobody's even gonna blame you. You're by yourself. Your top partner tapped out day 5. So she doesn't, right? So she makes it through. She's talking about how hard it was. And then basically she's just like, look, it didn't rain so much on me here. Like, I'm basically gonna move to like a different area, like a grassier area or something like that. Anyway, so she's having to move, and she threw up everything, so she still ain't really have eaten anything. So she's weak. She's trying to find some place. She's by herself. She's vegan, so she ends up fishing with like a mosquito net, and then she finds like these three little small fish. You see again where her partner, who wasn't the vegan, but he did love animals, so he couldn't kill the turtle to survive and get through and ultimately make it to her end goal. And I think that's what I want to correlate this with real estate and this long way of getting to that, right? She was able to ultimately, she had her end goal in sight. And she was like, I'm going to get to that end goal no matter what. Even though there's certain steps along the way that were uncomfortable, that certain things that she didn't want to do, she had the willpower, the discipline to really push through and reach and accomplish her end goal. She catches them. She has to kill them. You see the emotion on her face because she's like, even though I don't eat animals, I got to survive. I got to eat. So she killed fish real quick so they don't, suffocate and suffer, cooks them, eats them. And, again, it's another big victory. And you see just her overcoming, you're thinking like, okay, now she's getting real close, by the way, to the 21 days at this point. So anyway, fast forward, she's like at day 20 and I'm like, wow, I'm really just respecting, because it's like day 5 partner left. You've been in this place by yourself from day 5 to day 20 now. And she's in her new little shelter area. And of course, the night before, it rains, and the rain throughout this episode is just like each time it's getting a little worse. Each time the rain's getting a little worse. So this last time, and this is day 20, she is just like, I'm excited. You see her energy's up. Her goal is right there. She can she can taste it. It's a day away. And the last night it rains the worst that it's rained every night. And it rains so bad that she can't even sleep. The ground is flooded that she's sleeping on. So no fire, no real cover from the rain, in the jungle, already 20 days in, and just cold, and you can just see the pain that she's going through and the brokenness, but she persevered. And then so the morning of, before she's leaving, right, it's finally day 21, and she even says, last night was so tough because even though I was 20 days in, I'm a day away from my goal. I'm right there. Basically, I've done all of this and I'm right there. Even though I'm right there, last night, this last step was so difficult these next to last step was still so difficult that I still wanted to quit, but she didn't, right? So ultimately, anyway, fast forward. So just think that is so key, that she ultimately just traverses through this jungle all the way through with the willpower, and then she has to go through the heat. It's just tough. Like it's some shit I would never do. I'm gonna be real with you, but I can deeply respect, and I am inspired by seeing this woman do this. And anyway, so she ends up making it at the end, and it was just really powerful for me. I hope you guys can see the episode, and you guys get that same sense of inspiration. And she said something that really stuck with me, and she was just like, it's not about not being broken, right, or having those moments of self-doubt, or feeling like you want to quit, but what it is about is not staying in that place and not being broken forever, and continuing to move forward, and not letting those negative thoughts, those doubts, and basically stop you from doing those actions. And she said some things to herself, like during the episode, I think she was like, hey, let's just take it 10 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time, as she's going through the jungle by herself. And that, to me, is what's so powerful. And now the reason why I'm correlating this with real estate in my mind is because I'm very well aware of the present day. The average age of a homeowner is like 45 now. That is, and things are just so expensive. When you look at down payment plus closing costs and all this stuff, it is very interesting, right? When I correlate this to real estate in my mind, I'm very well aware of the situation that we're in today. Houses are very expensive, especially in LA County, even Riverside and San Bernardino County. When you're looking at these numbers, comparative to the national numbers, it can feel out of reach at times. It can feel like, man, like I want to do this, but where am I going to get this money? How am I going to save all of this money to be able to buy? And then, after I buy and get the down payment, then I have to keep up with these monthly payments. The insurance costs are increasing. All of these things are valid, right? You are completely valid as somebody that wants to be a home buyer and feeling like this. But what I would really urge you guys to do is, really treat this like the woman in, this Naked and Afraid episode is, persevere and take it one step at a time. And even though you may feel broken, like, there's just no way, how am I ever going to afford a $800,000 house? How am I ever going to get the money for this down payment? There is a way to do it. But my message for you guys is that you guys can get there, right? Don't stay in that place of brokenness and self-doubt that, oh, I'm never going to be able to afford a home. I'm never going to be able to do it. That negative thought is the first step in just ridding yourself. And even if it pops into your mind, don't let that negativity and that self-doubt be what stops you from becoming a homeowner. Because when you look at what's happening right now, keeping a very close eye on the unemployment numbers and how accurate they even are right now with the government shutdown and some of the firings and stuff that have gone on, right? Looking at the unemployment numbers and looking at AI, and these corporations, they don't want to have employees, right? That if they can replace you with a robot and increase their profits, they will do that, right? This is where we're heading, and we're not turning backwards. So when you look at just unemployment, continuing unemployment starting to rise, AI taking off and starting to cut down the workforce or increase that unemployment, right? And when you think about that, who are we doing this for? All right, who are you doing this for? When you look at, maybe you have children or you plan to have children one day, it's really hard to try to buy now. What is it going to be for them? And how much income, because we know rents will increase. So can you make a temporary sacrifice that's going to benefit you in the long term? And step one is removing that self-doubt and saying, hey, I'm going to persevere. And hey, 10 minutes at a time, one goal at a time, one step at a time. Because even though it may seem out of reach, right? Hey, like you're on day 5 in this episode, like day 21, it seemed like an eternity. Hey, maybe if what's wrong? Hey, my credit's bad. Hey, I don't have the money for the down payment. Maybe it takes you a year to 2 years to, start this journey to reach the goal of home ownership. But let's take those steps. How do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time, right? Let's take those necessary steps. And if you don't know those steps, reach out to me. I want to be here for you guys to help you guys take those steps. Real estate agents don't get paid until a deal closes, right? So don't wait until right before you're trying to, buy a house when you're ready to start that relationship and that communication with an agent, right? You want to know who you're working with, have a good rapport with them, make sure that agent is not just concerned about money in their pocket, but you and, how you're going to not only purchase this property, but keep this property. And is this the best property for you? And do you know everything that it entails about home ownership? What are the risks? There's just so much that goes into a real estate transaction. And, you want to build that relationship. So anyway, I'm rambling like crazy. This is why I am doing YouTube right now and not doing Instagram for this. But anyway, guys, so that's really my point here. I hope that I can inspire at least one person with this episode today with just perseverance, right? And we have different battles. Maybe it's credit, maybe it's a down payment, maybe it's employment, whatever it is. Maybe you feel like it's out of reach today, but don't let that moment just continue, right? Don't stay in that brokenness. Dust yourself off and take the next step. And again, I'm here for you every step of the way. So you guys, I hope you guys take and check out that episode. It really inspired me, and just seeing that, I feel like when you see somebody else's strength, what they can do, and really all with the mindset, right? This guy, her partner, hey, the muscle guy, all this knowledge, the hunting and everything but he didn't have the willpower. He didn't, he tapped out, right? So don't tap out. It's hard. Owning a house in California is hard, but look at and envision, how nice it's going to be when, hey, 30, 40 years down the line, your children inherit a house to where, hey, maybe they're not having to pay rent, the majority of their expense. So they're not slave to something, right? When you look at just the world, right? Look at the TV and what they're putting in TV, putting chips in your brain, having the corporation owns all the housing and they're going to require for you to live in that housing, they got to put a chip in your brain, right? That's severance. Where are we going as a society when we look at AI, current unemployment, the continuing unemployment, the mass layoffs that we're seeing from Amazon, UPS, and all this stuff? Home ownership is so key. And if you don't prioritize becoming a homeowner, where will that leave your children? So if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for them, and don't give up. Persevere. One bite at a time, 10 minutes at a time. You can do it, and I'm here with you. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I will have the information. I'm going to find, the name of the episode, and I'm going to get that for you. But I hope you guys love that. I hope you guys like this format, me just kind of, talking, and, I'm just trying to improve with the content creation game. But again, I am Terrell, a realtor working throughout the greater Los Angeles area. And you guys know the motto: if you want to sell, call Terrell. And if you want to buy, I'm still the guy.